Welcome to my review of the kit for a paratrooper of the 101st Airborne Division in the World War II post the D-Day invasion during the Normandy campaign, which would be in June through to August of 1944. The first item is the M1A1 Carbine, a folding stock rifle, which was originally intended for officer, jeep driver, radio operator use, but was adopted very early on by the paratroopers due to its compact design. It wasn't a particularly powerful weapon, reportedly requiring a number of shots to take down a enemy. However, it was quite accurate at a close range, and a very popular weapon and very typical for airborne forces. We now follow on with a automatic pistol, 9mm, the M1A1, sometimes known as the Colt 45. This is presented in a leather holster, original to 1942. The pistol itself was standard issue to officers and some non-commissioned officers. However, all paratroopers could arm themselves with this weapon, but the privates would commonly have to purchase this weapon privately. However, it was very common for the troopers to have this as a sidearm during the conflict. It was a very effective weapon, very popular, and was still used in the American military right up into the 1980s. We now move on to another iconic weapon, the M3 fighting knife. This was normally strapped to the left or the right boot, depending on the handedness of the trooper. It's a leather-handled knife. This has got the flaming bomb on the bevel, and it is a double-edged blade, very effective for close hand-to-hand combat. A similar version was developed to make into a bayonet that can be attached to the carbine or the Garand. This comes with a leather scabbard. However, later versions had a plastic scabbard, which was deemed to be slightly safer, more lightweight and tougher. Following on from the knife, we move on to a smoke grenade, technically not a weapon, but used to obscure an advance or target identify a target. And then we have the iconic Mark II grenade, fragmentation grenade, otherwise known as a pineapple grenade. These were highly effective at short range. Now we move on to the iconic M1 paratrooper helmet, recognisable with the additional chin strap to keep it on a head when jumping out of a C-47, and the characteristic A straps attached to the liner. This helmet is marked up as an Easy Company helmet, which you'll notice from the back there is a horizontal stripe which represents a non-commissioned officer, and the fluorescent marker to be used during the night to identify the trooper from the back. The next item is the paratrooper wrist compass. Most paratroopers carried an additional compass as well, which will be shown in future episodes. But again, an iconic feature of a paratrooper. We then move on to the standard issue water bottle with a canteen in its canvas cover. This is an original 1944 item. And the very iconic Corcoran jump boots, which were highly polished and were a prized possession of all paratroopers. Technically, no other troopers were allowed to wear these boots, and they were blousoned into the pants. A small entrenching shovel, it's a reduced length to aid carrying on a plane. And the iconic clicker used to identify fellow paratroopers. A Zippo lighter comes in useful for your smokes and lighting fires, obviously, and the standard issue TL122 torch with a red filter for night use. And then we go on to the gas brassard, which was attached to the arm. This would change colour with the presence of poison gas. Thankfully not used during the Normandy campaign. And to go with it is the M7 Assault gas mask bag. Inside there is a gas mask, non-standard for the era, just as a filler of the bag. It's waterproof, discarded after the jump in many cases. Moving on from the gas mask on the bag, we have standard webbing with multiple pouches containing ammunition that is felt to protect the shoulders, and in this pouch we have some TNT blocks used obviously for demolition, and can be quite difficult to get back in the pouch. In addition, more ammunition, and then we move on to the standard issue first aid kit with a Carlisle tin inside, issued to all GIs. But in addition, all paratroopers got an additional first aid pouch that they normally attached to their webbing, particularly in the 101st Airborne, rather than the helmet which you see with the 82nd. We have the musette bag here, filled up with personal items, which will also contain supplies for a few rations for at least 3 days. Underneath there was the white let down rope to try and get paratroopers out of trees if they were caught up, or various other locations. Again, many were discarded, others continued to carry them as they were useful for many other issues. And again, the iconic leather airborne gloves. So this is the representation of the kit post D-Day. Further videos will be released to go through more detail. Other bits of kit, such as the rations, other weapons that might be carried or obtained by the paratroopers as part of the campaign.